already got some chicken in it.
This right
Just gonna
here
dump
is
that in there.
probably so
Now I got. Alright guys, so the very first thing that you want to do is you want to take your potatoes and you want to wash them, okay? And I've already done that here. Basically, I've washed them up really good. So then the next thing you want to do is take you a nice, I don't know, paring knife or maybe just a small knife that's really sharp that you can use, and you want to start cutting up your potatoes. Now, there's different ways that people actually dehydrate potatoes. Some people take the whole potato and boil it first. Obviously they take the skin off, boil it first, and then slice it the way they want it. Some people slice it before they boil it. If you're going to take the whole potato and boil it, it is recommended that you cut it in half and then boil them. Because if you don't, what's going to happen is you sometimes won't get cooked all the way through, because you have to basically cook these potatoes, blanch them, or the technical term for it, before you can actually dehydrate them. Otherwise, they're going to turn black in the dehydrator because they're not cooked. And that's because the starch is still in them. So basically, you want to cook the starch out of your potatoes so that they don't turn black in the dehydrator. Personally, myself, I like to peel them, chop them up, and then put them in water and boil them. I want my stuff cut and already prepped prior to me putting it in the dehydrator. So I don't cut slices, I cut them up into chops. So what I'm going to do here is basically go ahead, take the potatoes, and I'm going to skin them, and then we're going to go ahead and start chopping up some of them, okay? So if you guys look right here, there's actually an impurity in the potato. And what we want to do is we want to cut that impurity out. Like I said, we don't want any of that in the potato when we go to dehydrate. So you want to cut as much of that stuff out of there as you can. So once you've got all the impurities cut out of your potatoes, then what you want to do is you want to go ahead and start slicing them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slice mine into little pieces. So I'll probably cut it in half, cut it in half again, cut it in half again, and I'm making small pieces. Now remember, when you're dehydrating, the smaller the pieces, the faster it dehydrates. The thicker the pieces, the longer it takes to dehydrate. So I'm just going to chop it up, little pieces like that. Then once I have these all chopped up, I have a pot behind me that has water in it. And I'm just going to put these in water, and that will help keep them fresh and from turning brown until I finish this entire 10-pound bag of potatoes. Now you don't want to cut them too thin, because since I'm cutting it before I actually cook it, it could get mushy on you. So you don't want to cut them too small, and you don't want to cut them basically mushy. So I'm just going to take this and put this in my pot behind me that's got water in it. Alright guys, so here's my pot that's got the water in it here. And all I'm going to do is take my potatoes that I've chopped up and just kind of set them in the water. And that's going to keep the potatoes fresh until I'm ready to start cooking the potatoes. Now, anybody that's done any cooking knows if you leave a potato out too long, it starts to brown and get all nasty and icky on you. So you don't want to do that. You don't want to keep them out of the water there. So I'm going to go ahead and cut up the rest of these 10 pounds of potatoes, and because I don't want to bore y'all with seeing that, and I'll see y'all guys in a bit. Alrighty guys, so we have our 10 pounds of potatoes in a 12-quart pot here. This is a canning pot that was given to me by Biddy B. Brown. Thank you, Mom. And it's the only one I have that's big enough right now to do what I needed to do. But it's in the water. I actually had to put this in the water overnight So the potatoes are good to go. They're still fresh. So what we're going to do now is we're basically going to cook them. And what we want to do is we don't want to cook them too long. We want to cook them enough to get all of the starch out of them. And you'll see when it starts to boil, you'll see this foamy white stuff on the top, and that's the starch coming out of the potatoes. Now, here's the deal. Some people say, okay, when you get to a certain point, just cook them about 2 minutes after that. Or some people say 6 or 7 minutes. I got 10 pounds of potatoes in one pot. I'm going to cook this a little longer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on my burner here. Now I'm going to show you something. This is my stove, which has a bunch of stuff on it now. It's a gas stove, okay? But I don't have my gas working right now. I have it devved into, that's one of the to-do things on the to-do list of the camper. So I have to went out and bought me a little inexpensive, I think this thing cost me like 20 bucks, 14 bucks at Walmart, I think. And I'll put the link below to this particular one, so you guys can, you can get it off of eBay if you want. I'm pretty sure it's there. But I needed one today, so I went and got one. But it's a single burner, and it's electric, which is what I was looking for. So what we're going to do is plug this guy in, turn it up, and I'm going to bring this to a boil. Once it comes to a boil, then I'm going to basically let it cook and let it foam up. I'll probably go about 7 or 8 minutes. At the most, I'll probably go 10, but I don't want to go too far because I don't want the potatoes to get mushy. You have to be careful of that because I have all these are 10 pounds of chopped up potatoes in here. So let's go ahead and do that, guys. Alright guys, let me just show you a little bit of what it looks like now. It's starting to heat up real good right now. You see the white stuff on top there? That's the starch coming out of the potatoes. So I need to see a whole bunch more of that stuff coming out of the potatoes. And the water's actually starting to boil a little bit, so let's see. Alright guys, so we got a bit of a boil going here, so I'm going to go ahead and start the clock, and we'll go about, oh no, let's go 10 minutes. Alright guys, this is what you want to see when you got your potatoes boiling, and all that white stuff on the top, that's starch coming out of those potatoes. So I'm going to scoop that stuff off and cover it up for a little bit, and let it cook just a little bit, few more minutes. I want to show you something. I actually stirred up the potatoes, and when I did, the starch starts coming to the top. So when you're cooking this many potatoes at once, guys, you just want to make sure you get all the starch out of those potatoes. Let me start scooping these guys. Alright guys, it's been about 15 minutes, and that's all that white stuff on the top you see is starch. So I think I got pretty much all the starch off of the potatoes that are going to come off of them. Okay, so I've turned off my pot, and I'm going to proceed to pour this into the strainer. You see all that starch stuff coming off of it. There go the potatoes. Set this aside. And now we're just going to rinse out the potatoes. Okay guys, so we have successfully rinsed off our potatoes. So the next thing we're going to do here is we're going to transfer these potatoes to a cold water bin. So we're just going to basically get them all cold. Just go ahead and some are trying to escape, but none escape me. Okay, so got everybody in that little cold water bath, if you will. Just let it kind of sit there for a little bit, kind of cool down. Okay. And once that's done, then we'll take these over to our dehydrator and start laying them on. Alright guys, so our potatoes have been cooling here for about 2 to 3 minutes now. So all I'm going to do now, I have my tray here. I'm just going to start transferring my potatoes over there. Now some people would like to pat them dry to kind of help, you know, the process of them dehydrating faster. I normally would do that, but today I got some stuff I got to take care of. Well, actually some stuff I want to do. I didn't head out fishing today. So what we're going to do here is just take these potatoes. So you don't want these on here thick. You just want them on there. Give them space between each one of the little potatoes so that they have room to dehydrate. When you start sticking potatoes or sticking the food in your dehydrator right up on each other like that, then it just takes it longer for something to normally dehydrate for you. So you just want to take some potatoes and just kind of line your open spaces, keeping somewhat of a distance between all your potatoes in here. You don't want anything lying on top of each other. Again, that would take the dehydration process a little longer. Notice I'm doing this over a sink so that as these guys drip, when I put them in here, they'll drip right into the sink. So and I'm shaking them with my hand, trying to, you know, as I put them in there, to get a little bit of water off of it. So, and that's your first tray, guys, right there. So what we're going to do is take this guy, put it on the dehydrator. I'm going to do the other 3 trays, and then I'll come back with you. Alright guys, so what you want to do now is you want to dehydrate these for anywhere from 6 to 14 hours. I'm going to go about 8 and take a look at it and see how they look. Maybe rotate the trays. If you have a dehydrator that has a temperature setting or a thermostat on it, this one does not, then you want to set your thermostat anywhere between 125 degrees Fahrenheit to 135 degrees Fahrenheit to dehydrate potatoes. Like I said, anywhere from 6 to 14 hours is what it will take to dehydrate potatoes. These may take a little bit longer because I have some dices are a little bit bigger in chunks. But we're going to go ahead and let this guy dehydrate, and the next time I check in it, I'll come tap y'all guys on the shoulder. Alrighty guys, it's been about 13 hours, so I'm going to go ahead and shut her off. I'm going to show you what she looks like. Second here. Okay, so if we zoom in, kind of focus there. What you want is exactly this. I mean, there's no soft center. It is completely, you break it open, it just breaks open. There's no soft center to it at all. And I mean, you can tell if you pick it up and you can squeeze it and it goes soft, then it's not ready. But this is completely dehydrated. When you try to break it, it cracks. Ooh, so hard. That's what she said. Now, let me show you what it looks like when a piece still has some starch in it. Okay, this is what you're going to see. It's going to turn dark, black, if you will. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'll go through and I'll pick out the little pieces that are dark like that. And there's not many of them. There's a couple there, you know, but those are not a big deal. I mean, if it's got a little discoloration to it, I'm all right with that. But like, you know, like this one where it's black on the end, and that one where it's black on the end, we'll throw those pieces away. But all right, guys, let me show you. So this is what, I mean, this is actually pretty good. This is not bad at all. See how black it is? Let's see if I can zoom in on that. See how little black on the ends like there? This is not bad. This is not bad at all. Normally, if you don't cook the potatoes long enough, this whole entire piece will be completely black. I mean, it'd be very unsightly. You just want to throw it away. You're going to have to throw it away because it's no good. You can't eat that. With a little bit of black ends, that just means that there's some of the pieces that just didn't get all the starch out of themselves there. So, but this is actually really good, guys. I mean, I put a whole 15 whole 10-pound bag of potatoes in a pot and boil them for 15 minutes. That's pretty damn good. That's pretty damn good, guys. Alright guys, this is it. When you cut up 10 pounds of potatoes, they fit in 2 quart-sized jars, I believe that these are. And that is pretty much the extent. That is absolutely amazing. A 10-pound bag of potatoes dehydrates down to 2 quart-sized jars. Absolutely amazing, guys. Just too cool. So that was dehydrating potatoes with your boy Camomeleon. I do appreciate y'all guys coming in. If you have any questions below, I am not a master of dehydrating. I'm just somebody that likes to do it and likes to save money when he does it. So if you have any questions, put them in the link below. I will give you all the information for my dehydrator, and the other tips that I gave within there will also be in the description below. In addition to all of my links, follow me on Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. I have a website, www.camomeleon.com, and you can email me at camomeleontv@gmail.com. All my Instagram, Facebook, and Twitters are all at Camomeleon TV. So guys, thank you very much. I appreciate y'all stepping in for this video, and we'll see you next time on Dehydrating with Camo.